Yo, what's good, guys? Looks like it's about to rain on this side. Um, what we have for today is pretty pretty chilled. It's going to be a calm stream. I'm just going to be modeling and chilling. Basically, we are modeling a ranch. I think that's what they call it. But something like this in Nigeria would usually call it like, maybe we call it like a plier. Not exactly a plier. Maybe like a spanner. Something we'll call something like this a spanner. But I mean it's called a wrench. So that's what we're going to be modeling for today. Um, yeah. So just enjoy. I would like to actually just not speak and just get into flow state to tackle this model, but that won't make for a nice stream. But then I'm also monitoring my battery so that the fact that I'm using the mic won't kill my battery too fast. So I'm just kind of doing both at the same time, trying to monitor and move smartly with this. So right here we'll select the edge and extrude. And why I'm doing it like this is because I want to be smart about like edge flow and how I achieve the shape of this basically. So basically I'm using extrude, I'm using rotate, all of that fun stuff. And right here, I think I want this to connect in this manner. I don't need this edge flow to go all the way around the way, you know, the way you would expect it to. So I'm thinking something like this, F. Then I'm thinking something like this right here, like this. And then I'll select this 4 and fill. Select this, fill. So this is cool. So right here, we can fill, select this 2. I like models like this because I don't know, something about the shape just solves the modeling problem on its own. Like it just flows, So we got this right here. I want to drag all of these edges down to this corner. All the edges down to the corner. Right. I think this is supposed to form a rectangle shape. So I'm going to try to make it form a rectangle shape right here. Right here. I'm going to add one more here. So this is going to be a quad fill. So this is going to be right here. This is going to be right here. This right here. So I think we have something that looks like a square. However, I do not like this right here. So I'm going to dissolve this edge first of all. I'm going to take this edge and then I would select this and just scale. As a matter of fact, let me do bounding box. Just scale on the X slightly. So I can take this and just bevel. Right. I want to bevel this to around here. And then this I can merge at last. Right, and this I can merge at last also. So I can take this to an SX. Right here, I will bring this up to this point. And I feel like this is cool. The only thing I want to do is that I want to round off these corners. Let me apply scale, then round this off. If I round off these corners, Then I have to connect these dots with J, right? And then select all and merge by distance. So I can remove those two overlapping ones. So we have pretty much the basic shape. I know that we're still going to add a subdivision to this so it holds all those edges. But even on the addition of the subdivision, Jesus, took me some time there to remember the word subdivision. I see that this shape is out of place, kind of wrong. So I'm just going to arrange this so that it flows better. And right here, I don't know, this part feels like it needs something like this. Yeah. So I like that shape better. I'm going to turn off that subdivision, and then I think down here I want to open this hole. So I'm going to bring in a lower than this inset. So I'm going to scale on the X, scale the whole thing. I'm going to insert. I'm going to subdivide 1, 2. I'm going to convert this into a circle and then scale this down. So I'll delete all of that face, right? So we have the shape that we want in there. That's cool. You see this rounding off right here? I feel like it should go all the way around, but I'll leave this like this for now. Right here, I can select this face, right? And what I'm going to do is I want to insert, but before I do that, I feel like I should just select all, like the entire loop right here. Select the entire loop, and I'm going to EY up to this point, and then I can flip this on the X. So this is SY. So that's cool. Right here, I can select this and EY into position, just like so. So this is cool. I like this. Something I'm going to do next is come to the front view, and I want to create this inset. Right, so I can select this face and I can insert this, right? And then extrude this slightly in here. And then I think this scales in a little bit too. So that's cool. That's pretty nice. Next thing I'm going to do is the inner wheel right here. I'm going to work on that. So this entire, I'm going to select this point, and I'm going to bring cursor to that point so I can bring in a cylinder. I think what I can see is a cylinder right there, right? So I can rotate the cylinder, scale it down, and SX or YY or ZZ, just like so. I can scale this down. No more. That's cool. This, I want to bring 3D cursor to the center of the scene, and then this cylinder I created, I want to bring that cylinder to selection. So I can GZ, bring this up to the surface. Right here, I can frame selected, go to this view, rotate, and G to bring this into position. So I can bring the 3D cursor to this point, and what I want to do next, I want to go to the curve, and I want to look for Archimedes something. I need to look for where it's at. Extras. Where is it? No, I'm in metrics. I need to be in curves. Oh my god. Then I'll go to spiral and Archimedean spiral. So we have that selected. For the radius, I want to bring that down. For the height, I want to bring that up a little bit. For the number of tons, I want to just increase. I think we're good with maybe this amount. And then steps, I think steps is the amount of vertices in between. 30 should be good. And that's great. So right here, I can just add depth to it. In the curve section, we're going to add some depth. So for this, I'm going to reset origin to geometry. I'll maybe copy. Let me see if I can copy this location and rotation. Let's see. Copy location, that's fantastic. Copy rotation, that's fantastic. So this is already aligned in position. I'm just going to scale this down just like so. Okay, so there's some issues with scaling right here. So I'm going to scale this out and SCZ, and then this can be the way it is. That's cool. I'm going to look at the reference again because I feel like there's something that I'm missing in there. So right here. Okay. I don't think we're actually missing anything. So maybe it's this piece right here that makes here look dark. So I want to bring in that piece. I'm going to go to view, frame that's selected. Right here, I'm going to select this face. I'm going to insert, right? And then I'm going to extrude along normals. And then I'm going to bring origin to this point. And on the side right here, I'm going to bring in a cube. Scale that down. And G into position right here. G. This also should be in position. So that's good. That's nice. Right here, I can select this and just bevel accordingly to achieve the shape. I think this is pretty much the shape. Then on the Y, I'm going to SY. So right here, this hole that we've created here is too much. So I'm going to copy this and undo down to this point. So the reason I copied this down, I want to just save it in the clipboard so that when I make this adjustment, I can just paste that back in place. So in fact, let me just paste that back in place right now. And then we can use this to measure how much insert we need. So right here, I think I want to add an edge loop here. And maybe add an edge loop here. So I can select this face and just bring that in. As a matter of fact, maybe I can SY and bring that in just like so. So that's good. Right here, I can select this, apply that scale, and then right here, I would bevel. If I add a subdivision to this, it should tighten that up, but no, it didn't. Something I need is to cover up this hole right here. So I can use this one to cover it up. I can select this, and just, nope. Apparently I can't do that. So I need to join this, maybe flip to the other side, mirror. Then when I say flip to the other side, I mean mirror actually. So I'm mirroring the object to the other side. That's why it comes off as flip to the other side. So this I can just use to cover this hole for now. Doesn't look right though, but let's see how it goes. Right here, I can select this loop. This, as a matter of fact, let me select all of it and just select sharp edges. So I'm going to come down here and sharp edges, right? Let's see. Okay, that's cool. I can just bevel all of that. And if I add a subdivision to this, I want to add this edge to the selection. So I can bevel. right? If I add the subdivision, it looks good. So same thing I've done to this, I want to do to the other part of this mesh. So for example, there's all this part, like they're going to need a holding right here, right here, right here, right here. That's cool. I think this part, I'm going to uncheck this part, just like so. And I'm going to bevel slightly. That's one part of the beveling. I'm going to go to the side view. I think this part needs a bevel on its own. So I'm going to bevel this independent of the other. Ooh! Okay. I need to select the whole thing, like all the whole loop right here. And bevel. Yeah, this is what I needed. Like, ooh, that's not enough bevel. So I'm going to take this and just GG out of the way so that I can apply way more bevel than I actually need. So this I'll bevel. Bam. That's cool. That's space. Up top here, I also want to apply bevel, but I'll take all of it down to the edge, and then at this top, I'm just going to round. I can't round it all off. So how do I do it? Let's see. There are a lot of overlapping vertices, so I probably want to undo and then figure out a way to round this off, because it needs to be rounded off. Like once I apply subdivision like this, I want this place to be like strong. What if I insert? What if I delete the face? Where is it? Delete the face and then grid fill. Nope, fill. Then I can insert scale. So that's that about that area. Subdivision is working properly for some parts, and for some parts it's not. For example, this part right here, I need to select this entire loop. Oh, nope, it's not letting me. So I'm going to go in myself and make the selection. So this space, I want to bevel, right? But I also want to bevel in such a way that, okay, I think this bevel is enough. Not so thick. This is good. I would only need one loop on this side just to get the shape that is needed. I feel like all of this needs to be as wide, just made bigger and thicker. Then right here, I'm going to introduce some holding loops, make it round. Right here, I think it just needs to be bridged, but what I can do is select this edge and EY, just make them meet at the center right there. I can select the edges again and just bevel it. So that's good. That is good. Something I'm looking at is inside here. I feel like this part needs kind of like holding loops on its own too. So I'm going to put some holdings right here. I'll select this, and select this, and then insert. That's cool. And then can turn that back on, and we have one of the range done. I'm looking at this again, and it looks like there's some kind of a bend. Let me zoom into the reference, or can I pull it here? Exactly. There's something going on here that is not accounted for in my own. So let me see if I can include that. I feel like my battery can't even hold me. So I can go into view, front view, right here. I want to add, see this edge? I want to move this Chichi. This two I want to move Chichi. And then I can add this right here. If I add one loop right here, connect this to this joint, and then using this as maybe an active element, I can go to the side, select all of this, right here. Nope. Can select this. Select this, select this, select this, select, select. Then we use this as active elements, and we can rotate around active elements. So on the side view, I can rotate this in. And maybe even GY, bring that in a little bit. So that rotation was too much. So I'm just going to rotate slightly and GY. That's cool. Then this part, I can select this edge, and this part is not bent properly. So I'm going to make this selection myself. Go one by one. Make the selection, and then right there, right there, right there. View, frame selected. Cool. Using this as the pivot points from active elements, I can try to make that rotation again, and GY. So that looks cool. Right here, I can select this edge and just bevel that. Let's see. Nope. That's not it. How about to have That's not it either. How about we hold it with min increase? Yeah, min increase works, but the difference is not so clear like that. So I want to do the rotation exercise again, but this time I'm going to GY in first, right? And then as well, maybe I can even GY in even more and then rotate this slightly. So that's cool. So right here, I can shift E. This is not working. C, move this to 3D cursor. Right here, I can GZ, copy position and apply. That's good. I can do shade auto smooth. Right here, maybe I want to tighten up edges, just like so. I think right here, I want to dissolve this edge. I think it flows better. So this is going to be, no, I'm going to move this in a collection called wrench number 1. Wrench 1. I think I would, it looks like I have battery for one more. So I've never checked the stream since. So let me just check the stream, know what's going on. It looks like I have battery for one more. So yep. I'm going to delete this and then bring in another reference. I think I have a couple of references. I'm not going to do that. That looks this is the one that I just did. Or not exactly like this, something like this, sure. It looks like I can do this one on time. Want to look for something simpler. This one is very tempting. Okay. So I feel like I'm going to go with this, right? Drag into the scene, reset, RX 90. That's cool. I'll go to the front view, rotate this, and I can GZ. Right, opacity, I'll bring that down, scale this, and I think we pretty much have our reference in. So I'm going to bring the cube, scale that down. I'm going to GZ and create the top shape. Top shape seem pretty easy, so I can GY and I can also GX rather, but this time around I'll bring this backwards. But for this part, it looks like I have to SX0, make that flat, and GYX. So that's cool. I'm going to open that reference down here so I can see things properly. GY. So this is the wrench head. I'm going to shift D Z, shift D and Z, and SZ. No, not SZ there. SZ minus 1. Say flip to the other side. Then I can scale this down, try to fit this into place. Right? I'll bring cursor to this point and I'll bring in a cube. This is not supposed to be a cube, this is supposed to be S wide into something like this, right? And I can scale, bring this GZ down, GX. I can also select this and GX. So that's cool. GZ, I'm going to bring this up, right? And then down here I want to create something like this. So it looks like a cube. It starts with a cube, rather. It doesn't look like a cube, but it starts with a cube. You can Z, scale this down. I can GZ, bring this down here. Before I go any further, I want to add this detail right here. So we'll have the cube right here being extruded along the normal slightly. Apply scale slightly. That's cool. Right here. So what I see here are these edges selected. So that the edges include this, and this, right? And I can SZ, I can apply the scale, right? And bevel. See. So that's cool. As a matter of fact, let me do that bevel again and shade it to smooth. So that's cool. Right here, I can select both heads and just GX forward, just like so. And then this, I need to move fast. I feel so relaxed. My battery is already really down. So I'm going to bring in a cone, and that cone I'm going to bevel the tip so that it's flat. So I'm going to come to the side view, rotate by 180, scale that down, and I can bring this here, S Shift Z. Right, so that's cool. Right at the other side, GZ, S Shift Z, and this right here I can S Shift Z, and I can extrude a little bit. I can insert and then extrude again. So right here I can GX, can scale this and GZ. So that's cool. GZ. Right around here, want to bring in a cylinder. Let's see. So this is more like even a block out phase, so to speak. For this, I'm going to select that, separate that selection. Select this. I'm going to extrude down to this point. I'm going to extrude again and scale on the X, just like so. So we have that. I'm going to select this right here, select this face, and then extrude that. Sweet. I can GX, bring this in, select these two, and move them to the top. Select these two, move them on the Z. So you see these two, I want to select these two edges and just bevel those. But I'm going to apply that scale first and just bevel. Right? So I like this, what this is looking like actually. I'm going to bring cursor to this point and I'm going to bring our Archimedes spring again. Where is it? Spiral Archimedes. So that's cool. The only thing we're going to do right now is increase the steps. So that's cool. I can enter that and then GZ. I'm going to add some depth to that right here. Scale this down, GZ. So right around, I think here, I want to go to the side view, select all of this, delete vertices, and then see this, I'm going to scale on the Z just like so. So this part, this and this, I'm going to S Shift C. Scale. Okay, that's cool. This part right here, I think what I'm going to do with it is, first of all, I'm going to add a loop and move this down. I'm going to select these two edges and just bevel those. Right, this I'm going to connect with J, and to create that extra cushion on the handle, I'm going to come to the front view, place a loop around this point. I think there's a loop there already, so I can select this two, Shift D, separate that selection, can come here and then extrude this outward a little bit. So my battery is already saying battery low. So I'm quickly going to get done with, I think I'm pretty much done with this. The only thing I need to do is so I'm going to undo all of that. I see that I didn't select something and I probably didn't even bevel something well. So I'm going to undo all the way down to this point, well beveled. I'm going to GZ and then it needs to be dissolved. Y, I'm going to add in, the subdivision, this edge right here. I'm going to select boundary loops. So the boundary loops, let me see if I can tighten up. I can't tighten up, so I'm just going to use holding loops to hold that together. I think these two edges right here I can GG just to achieve the shape, and yeah, I think we're good on the shape of that. Right here, I'm going to bring in a cylinder. Scale RX90. View frame selected, GY. I can apply scale, bevel this just like so. And that same knot, I'm going to Shift D and Z, and then I'll just scale that. So right here, I'm going to bring this down. As a matter of fact, maybe I want to add a loop right here and connect this with J. Let me see my battery. Battery is remaining 7%. It should go off anytime soon, but I won't even want it to go off. So, yeah. Shader to smooth. Let's see. See this? I'm going to bring this up, and this right here is going to come all the way up. Then I'm going to have some holding right here, and then increase our subdivision counts to make that rounder, smoother. So all of this that I've done here, I'm going to apply this sub D, select this, join, and then with this selected, I'm going to flip to the other side. So that's good. I'm going to select everything minus our cone and this, and then I want to scale all of this on the Y. It feels very fat. So I'm going to select everything again and exclude this and this, and then maybe this. So all of it can be scaled on the Y axis. Make that slimmer right here too. I'm going to make this GY slimmer. All this one had to suffer. So how do I do this now? I can SY to compensate for that. Scale it down a little bit. I think this one can just be, I can just select this edge, and then with proportional editing I can GX, just like so. So this is pretty good. What's the percentage of battery now? 5. Oh my god.